Hello, my name is Jennifer Radix Johnson, and I'm the Executive Director for the Elisa Ann Rushburn Foundation. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to be productive. Okay, wait, I know it doesn't sound super exciting, sounds kind of boring, but let me tell you this. I love being productive. It is literally what brings me joy, and I hope that by learning a little bit more about how you can be productive, it'll also bring you joy. I will say I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not even an expert in this situation or on this topic at all. But going through school, undergrad, graduate school, going through my career, managing my family and my home life, being productive is just something that I've really learned to love over the years, as well as continue to perfect and hone my craft in. So I hope that makes me somewhat of not an expert, but knowledgeable about this topic. So what is the definition of productivity? Productivity is producing or able to produce large amounts of goods, crops, or other commodities. So that's literally the definition of productivity. But a productive day is not about getting a lot done. It is about getting the important stuff done, the stuff that really matters to you. So you can produce a whole lot of crud every day. And if it doesn't matter to you and it doesn't matter to the people around you, what's the purpose, right? But if you can produce one thing that really matters to you at the end of the day or at the end of the week or at the end of the month or at the end of the year, that's really being productive. That's creating something of great importance. So why is being productive important? Being productive helps you evolve. Being productive helps you build resilience. Being productive teaches you to continuously push yourself, and the more productive you are, the easier it is to evolve into a better self. Being productive can easily lead to creating better habits. Even when times are really tough, it's great to think about what you have control over in your life. And sometimes that's being productive over something. Having a task, having an activity, having a goal that you would like to accomplish. Perhaps that's the thing that you can control in your life, is to be productive. So that helps you build resilience as well, because even in times of challenges or difficulty, if you're still able to pull through and accomplish that goal or complete that task or whatever that thing is that you consider being productive, that helps you build resilience. So it's such an interesting concept to think about, productivity leading to resiliency. So think about productivity in a positive way in those terms. So my staff will tell you that one year I almost outright banned the word busy in our organization, because it started to become a weapon that people would use of like, I'm just so busy right now. I am so busy. Oh, I can't do another thing. I'm busy. So what that created was an environment where I would shut other people out, right? If you hear that someone's busy, what's your natural reaction? Like, oh, I shouldn't bother that person. I don't want to ask that person for one more thing. I don't want to try to ask for help from that person. That person's so busy. And so what I really encouraged staff to do was to break down the word busy into like what was actually going on. So I'm a little overwhelmed today. I've got 3 reports that I'm working on, and I've got an event this weekend that I'm still planning. So that at least opens the conversation for other people to understand like what you're working on, and then perhaps even lend their support. Like, oh, you've got those 3 reports due. Can I help you with one of them? Or are there any numbers I could pull for you, or whatever it might be. But it really just started to get rid of this bubble that people were putting themselves in when they were saying that they were busy. And also, being busy doesn't mean that you're productive. You could be busy all day long for 8 hours plus a day, and in the end produce nothing. Or you could be really productive and put in, 2 or 3 hours, very focused and specific on a project and get it done. So really I'm encouraging productivity and not just being busy. How do you be productive? It really is something that you have to plan for. A productive day does not happen by accident. You can either run the day or the day runs you. We've all experienced that at the end of the day, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 8 o'clock at night, whatever it is, you look back at your day and you're like, wow, I can't believe the day is gone. Like, what did I do today? What did I actually accomplish? And that feeling kills me. So I try as best as I can to run the day instead of having the day run me. So how do I do that? Create goals. You really have to think about what you would like to see at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, or at the end of the year. So at the beginning of the year, every year, just like I'm sure millions of people, I create my annual goals. Lots of people call them New Year's resolutions, but I really create just a handful of goals. I think over the years, I've really pared down that list from like 20 things that I want to accomplish at the end of the year to maybe like 3 or 4 things, 3 reasonable things that I think in 365 days, this is what I'd like to accomplish. So I create those goals, and then at the end of the year, I look back and say, did I actually accomplish them? I also create monthly goals. So this is more of at the beginning of the month, I set out to say like, okay, what would I like to have done by the end of this month? So it's again where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's May, or oh, I can't believe it's December already, or whatever it is, like the month has just flown by. I like to look back and say like, these were the things that I accomplished. These are the things that I produced. And then what's super helpful for me are my daily goals. Every morning that I wake up, I think about, 2 or 3 things that I absolutely want to have done by the end of the day. That helps me that, again, when it's 5 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night or whatever it is at the end of the day, I could say, yes, I accomplished those things. And obviously there's other stuff that's going to come up and other things that you've got to work on. But there are very core goals that I'd like to have accomplished by the end of the day, whatever that is. Read all my emails, return that call that I got yesterday, whatever it is. It could be super, super simple, but it has to be personal too, that you feel like at the end of the day, you're like, yes, I did that. I accomplished that. Write it down. Write your goals down. So I am such a paper pusher. It's embarrassing. I'm super old school. I write down all my notes on in a notebook or on Post-its. I literally write things down. In terms of my annual goals, I write it in my notes section on my phone. And I think I have at least like 3 years saved. So it's kind of fun to look back a few years ago to be like, what were my goals then? And did I accomplish them? But I have to write it down in order to really remember, like, this is what I set out to do for myself. And then, it's really important to review at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, whatever your time frame is, to really review and see if you actually accomplish those goals. So it's one thing to say like, I'm going to write a book by the end of the year, and then you do nothing to accomplish that. And you forgot you even said you did that. You said you were going to do that, and it just comes and goes. But if you actually review and do a temperature reading for yourself to say like, did I actually accomplish that? That's really important. And then I want you to think about productivity, not just in terms of work or school, but in terms of your home life, your health, and play. So what does that mean? In terms of your home life, is it to really build or strengthen relationships you have with your partner or your family or your friends? For your health, is it your physical health, your mental health? What are the items that you want to work on? Is it to be less stressed or to be more caring? And then last one is play. What are some artistic, creative, fun things that you really like to do, that you want to be productive in? Is it sports? Is it art? Is it music? Is it video games? It could be anything. But you really have to find a balance with all of this. So it's not just being productive at school and work, but really thinking about your life as in its entirety and how you'd like to be productive in all these areas. So everything in moderation. Being productive is a good thing, but there is such a thing as being too productive. So this is something I am personally working on because I literally cannot relax sometimes. It's like always like, what's the next project? What's the next thing I want to work on? But you're being too productive when your input becomes disproportionate to your output and you're ignoring other aspects of your life. So if your goal is to write a book at the end of the year and that's all that you do day in, day out, and you're ignoring sleep, you're ignoring your eating well, you're ignoring your family or your friends, you're being a little too productive where it's not proportion. You're ignoring other aspects of your life. So you really have to watch out for that. And then the last thing I'd really advise is to be kind to yourself. You want to make sure that you set your goals, you hope to achieve your goals, but if for any reason you can't accomplish them, be kind to yourself. You know, we're all trying our best to do what we can. And, you know, as long as you put effort into it, as long as you tried, that's all that you can ask for, because progress is better than perfection, right? We want to move our life forward. We want to move ourselves closer to our goals, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to always be completed. That's just something to really think about, is to be kind to yourself as you try your best to be productive. So I hope I inspired you to be productive. I hope I inspired you to create some new goals for yourself, or to dust off those old goals that you created for yourself. But, you know, if we all just try our best to produce whatever we can in this world and put that out, we'll all be better for it.